violence. I was a brute at times. I got married when I was 19 years old. That was when my girlfriend got pregnant. Back then we felt like we didn't have any choice, and I felt trapped. I was an angry young man filled with rage, self-loathing mostly. I hated myself. Rock music is about that rage, seething anger, nonconformity. If you can't tap into a deep well of anger and rage, as a rock and roll musician, you should switch to something else. I was in the right place mentally, emotionally for rock and roll. That anger, I got into fights with men, knockdown, drag out fist fights. I struck women. I don't know how to communicate at that age, so I communicated with my fists. I controlled women with physical violence. I beat up men who insulted me or crossed me. I was fairly good at it, much better than I was with words. I was a brute, yes. That is another primary reason for my activism for peace and human rights, women's rights. I was trying to make up for being a brute in my early adulthood. I freely admit that. I am not proud of it. After your peace protest, President Nixon all but effectively declared war upon you and began proceedings to have you deported. What do you remember about that period of time? The cops, they planted grass on us quite some time before, and they used that possession charge to throw me out of the country. I remember nearly 4 years of pure hell, being hauled into court time and again, fighting tooth and nail just to stay. It cost me years and years of effort, tremendous amounts of cash, terrible stress, but in the end it was worth it. Years later it became known that Nixon had made a hit list of enemies, and I was one. The FBI was following me, recording all my calls, all conversations, all personal contacts, everything. Frankly, I think if I had been a poor, ordinary, working class man, or if I'd been a black guy, they would have just killed me. The stress very nearly did the job for them by itself. When the full power of the state and the full weight of the state turns its gaze upon the individual, generally the individual has no chance. But I was saved by my high profile, great legal help, a fair judicial system that you have, and lots of cash. And I was certainly lucky to stay. Thank you for being our guest. If you would, please play us out with your anthem, Give Peace a Chance. I'd be only too glad to play you out, but I'll make you a deal. You play the version that I played, and I'll play an updated version, a version that people in 2014 can understand, a new version.